So my name is Sharon Whiteman, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to host this weekly Mannatech gathering, training, inspiration, communication, education, and knowledge sharing with each and every one of you. I partner with Gary Knapp, whom you see on your screen now, and Diana Hunter, who will be with us shortly. And we've been doing this for almost 17 years now. So today we have today we have a great opportunity to start 2021 with the good news. I know 2020 was a bit tough in many cases, and I know it's not over for everyone. And I think my favorite quote out of the whole COVID experience is that we're all in the same storm, but not in the same boat. So, our heartfelt prayers, all of you, if you're in a rocky boat or a more rocky part of the storm, wherever you are beaming in from. Hopefully, I'm a bit pessimistic about the smooth sailing ahead. I think we have to buckle down yet, but I'd hopefully be wrong. So Mannatech is everything good news, though. And that's what we wanted to start about. So we, sometimes I don't know if you can see me nod, I can't see you nod your head, but I think sometimes Mannatech is the best kept secret. And it's up to each and every one of us to let people know about what we have. And there's something for everyone in Mannatech. For those of you that are new, Mannatech is a social entrepreneur company. At its bottom line, before profit, we give back to the world, and we have since our inception. So we've got, and not to compete, just out of pure pride. We were in the first handful of companies ever to do that. And hardly most companies that are committing to social entrepreneurial action are doing it after profit, which is still great, right? Business has to get back to the world, and that's what we are. We're a business. But there's something for everyone in Mannatech, whether it's your lifestyle, whether it's your mission. So many people just aren't happy with what they're doing every day. I know myself, I volunteer with a charity, and giving back is something that's really high on my list of values, that ability to contribute to our society. And Mannatech does just that. And you can build an income, or you can get well, or there's something for everyone in Mannatech. And I know that sounds like a big claim, but I'm very grateful and proud and privileged to be here with some of our invited guests. And between the five of us, we range anywhere from a couple years through to, I think, is it 23 years this year for Mannatech in Australasia? So there's a real depth and breadth of perspective and experience and passion. So I think we'll just go alphabetical. So we'll start with Diana Hunter. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm delighted to be here, and thank you, Sharon, for asking me to share my journey, my story with Mannatech. And as some of you may know, that started back in December 1998. So 22 years ago. And it was actually Sharon that introduced me to Mannatech. She'd heard about the products at a dinner party in the November, I think it was. And Sharon was already a friend of mine for 10 years or over 10 years at that point. And so she knew that I'd had a 15-year challenge with my health. I'd had immune problems, digestive issues, with my brain function, my energy levels, and my mood. And she'd heard about something that might help me. So as a good friend, she shared that with me as something to investigate. I also have a previous career in allied health. So I'd studied the fundamentals of Western medicine and medical science. And because of my health journey, I'd had a broad experience and exploration of complementary health. So when I took a look at Mannatech, I could see it was something different, particularly the nutritional glycans. I hadn't heard of them, and they made a lot of sense to me, this concept of cellular communication and the key for that. The other thing that stood out to me was that the products were plant and food sourced wherever possible. And by this time, I wasn't even able to tolerate synthetic supplements. So it was very attractive to have something that was like our body was meant to receive it in a food and plant form. So I decided I would trial the product. So I used the last money I had at the time, and my health had left me financially destitute after all that time. And I used the last money I had, chunk of money that I had, to buy a bulk set of products and decided to trial them. Well, after about 3 months, I had signs of my health returning. I had improvement in my digestion. I felt stronger. My mood had lifted, and I knew that I was going to continue to receive health improvements. So I became a very passionate advocate of the Mannatech products. Now, at the same time, I had moved, both Sharon and I had moved to regional Queensland. That had been a lifestyle choice, but it became obvious to me very quickly that I wasn't going to be able to rely on the local community environment for the income and the lifestyle that I desired. I had secured a part-time permanent position, and like everything that I do, I put 100% into it, turned their systems around, and at the end of about 3 months there, the woman that I work for, the manager there, pulled the rug on my job in a very unethical way. But it was a defining time for me. I thought to myself, I'm no longer putting all of who I am, my skills, my talents, my energy into somebody else's business. I'm going to reserve some of that for me. And so Mannatech was the obvious choice. And I also wanted to be professional. I wanted to be effective at how I shared the message of the nutritional products and the business with other people. So I participated in all the trainings that are available and have ever since, and continue to. And that's why I'm encouraging everyone to tune in and connect in with the national convention, so that I could deliver the message of Mannatech. And the rest is history. I've received tremendously from my association with Mannatech. I've received the top class education in nutritional health. I've been educated in, what we're all really facing in the modern world with our health, with all the toxins and the stresses in our modern life. And, where Mannatech fits into that in terms of delivering a significant part of the solution there. And I've been able to share that with other people. I've received absolutely top class business education from some of the leaders in leading business minds in the industry and outside of our industry. One of the things you may have heard of Robert Kiyosaki, if you've been active in our business for a while, is an international educator in business. And he says one of the benefits of network marketing is you can receive this top class education largely for free. And that's been true for me and for us in Mannatech. And move your mindset from that as an employee or a self-employed person to that as a business owner. And, I've been able to apply those business skills, not only in Mannatech, but in my business life in general. I've been able to hang out with like-minded people in our community. Many of you who are on the call this morning, I've known for many years. And I love hanging out with you, like-minded people, positive-minded people, who have an interest in, the way I see it, the upliftment of humanity, being, the best that we can be, either in our physical well-being or, in our business life, if that's what we choose. I've been able to travel. I've been to Malaysia. Sharon and I went off to Alaska in the early days, which was a fantastic trip. I've traveled to America many times on business trips and around Australia, and I wouldn't have done that unless I had this association with the company. It's been a rich part of my life. And then I've received an income every single month, probably for the last, I would say, 21 years at least, either covering the cost of my product in the very, very beginning to now receiving, an income that supports my life. I have a part-time income with Mannatech. And, Sharon asked one of the questions for us to share was, how have we been able to give back through Mannatech? And one of my passions has been to support people in their greater well-being. And Mannatech has been the perfect vehicle for that for me. It's supported me in fulfilling what I have as a sense of purpose, but also supported me in income to be able to do that and continue to do that. I've been interested in natural health for over 30 years. This is a vehicle to make a difference in people's lives with that. And one of the biggest rewards is hearing people's results. When you follow them up and you take care of them over a period of time, hearing the improvements in their life or their family's life, that's incredibly rewarding. And I also love being part of the business and sharing that knowledge and experience with my business leaders and supporting them in success. And as I've grown, I've been able to also share and share my knowledge with our greater Mannatech community. So the rewards have been both ways, Sharon, both in terms of what I've received and also what I felt like I've been able to give.
Mm. Yeah, I've been proud and privileged to witness a lot of that journey, Diana. And for those of you listening today, I'm always dobbing Diana in with her special skills for the next speaking opportunities, because she's an amazing educator. And if you ever have the opportunity to attend one of her trainings, you'll love it. So thank you, Diana. We'll come back. And then next to Gabriella, big warm welcome. Lovely to meet you.
Oh, there we go. Hello.
There you go. Perfect. Welcome to our Australasian Saturday morning training. It's lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
So how did you come to be introduced to Mannatech, Gabriella?
Okay, yes. Okay, so first of all, for those who don't know me, I'm Gabby from Sydney, Australia. And so I came to Mannatech through Poppy, that is my upline. So I would love to acknowledge and recognize my presidential uplines, if that's okay. Naomi Choi and Silver Director James Hannon, for everything that they do for us, and also for all the support that I get from Poppy. So so my story is a little bit different. I came to Australia 7 years ago. I'm from Argentina. So I come from a very negative and difficult country. And I came to Australia with my husband just to look for a better future for ourselves at that time and for our future family. And now we have two gorgeous daughters. One is 5 years old and she started school just this week, and an 8 months old as well. So we came to Australia with just 2 luggages of clothes and a little bit of savings, just to have the some money to get the things that we needed for the first at least a couple of months until we get a job, or we find a way to sustain ourselves financially. So it's been a very difficult journey for us, and we struggle financially very, very, very hard for many years. And it wasn't until my first daughter was born that I really realized that I needed to do something to change our situation. So and think differently, because at that time the only way that I thought that I could help my family financially was, of course, finding a job. And I was working, but at the same time it wasn't giving us enough money to pay for the bills, rent, and everything. Many times we had to rely on people giving us food and helping us that way. And so I was following Poppy on Facebook. I've been looking at her, the way that she became so successful in with Mannatech and everything. And I was always very curious about it. I loved the idea of working from home because I was working outside the home, and I was paying a nanny to stay with my daughter, my newborn daughter. So I had to pay someone to stay with her so I could go and work. And even that, I was, paying her, the nanny, more than I was earning, because she needed to be longer that hours at home, because I needed to travel to my job as well. And so, following Poppy, one day I decided that I had to do something about our situation. Again, I saw her successful business, how she was, going, and I just reached out to her and I said, I want to join your team. I want to be in your team. I really want to change my family situation. So that's really what drove me to Mannatech. A lot of hope and a lot of dreams that I had. Again, we came to Australia looking for a better future, and it was harder than we thought. We thought that maybe it was going to be easier to go outside our country and find a better life, but we struggled a lot. So, but I was still full of hope, and I wanted to do something for my family. So, Mannatech has really changed my life. Not only with the income that now I have, but my mindset shift. It was a really it was completely changed for me. Even in the first years in Australia, I got severe depression. I was very depressed because I was feeling lonely. I wasn't really, I wasn't really happy with the life that we had, because we were fighting for a better future, and still it was very hard to to make ends meet. So so I really thank Mannatech, the opportunity, Poppy for all her mentoring and support, as well as the team. All the training is amazing, and it has helped me to really know how to build a business, and how to first of all help myself to be in a better mindset for myself, and then to be able to help others. So what I could give back through Mannatech is that my heart is really now with women that are going through or went through similar situations as me, and having the opportunity to get to know more women that are going through, that are struggling financially or mentally, or with their health, and being able to give them, a solution, like, give them a hand and help them, get out of that situation, is really where my heart is. And yeah, so that's my biggest passion with Mannatech, to help other women be happy, healthy, and have a balanced life, through work and having more time with the family, staying, especially women that are staying at home. So that's really my heart with Mannatech, and yeah, and how I started.
Abby, that's amazing. That is, people just don't understand how precious our business is to offer people hope from a very, nobody could get the income potential in their life without the risk that we offer. It's amazing. And then, all the benefits with the with the health and the contributions to society on top of that. I'll come back to you later, but thank you so very much and welcome to Mannatech.
Thank you.
And to Gary. So Gary came in for a similar but different reason to Mannatech, and we've partnered for a long time. And your story is very profound, Gary. Tell us more about how you came to Mannatech and your story.
Well, I worked out at a very, very early age that I was pretty much unemployable because I don't like being told what to do. And I was actually going to go and I wanted to do a photography degree. And my dad sat down and he said, listen, there's these new degrees out which relate to business studies. He said, you can always do photography, but if you go and learn how to run a business, you'll be able to run a photography business. And I thought, well, that makes sense. So I went off and did an honours degree in business and marketing, with the view of always having my own business, of being, independent and not being told what to do. And so I started my own business. I had a couple of jobs, which I didn't really enjoy because I was being told what to do. But it gave me a bit of experience. I did a lot of traveling with the first one, and I traveled all around the world and it was very successful. But my passion was to start my own business, and I already become a successful skydiver. So I started the first commercial tandem skydiving operation when tandem skydiving was first invented. And I dare say you've all seen tandem. Well, back then, no one had, and they all thought it was complete lunacy to strap someone to your front and jump out of an airplane with them. So that was my first business, and the weather in England wasn't very good. So my sister had been to Australia, and she said, oh, you should have a look at Australia. And I came over here, decided to make the move, and migrated my business to Australia. And I started the Australian National Skydiving Centre. And it was a great success. It grew really quickly. It was by far the most professional operation in the Southern Hemisphere. It was really upmarket and very, very professional. And so it grew quickly. And my passion, which was jumping out of airplanes, and the business, I mean, it was a perfect fit, really. But it got bigger and bigger. I ended up with 17 full-time and 35 part-time employees. And that's when it started to really change. I seemed to have less and less time to do the jumping out and the teaching people and, giving people that experience, and more time on red tape and paying bills. And you can imagine with a skydiving centre, the overheads were just absolutely huge. I mean, the fuel bills would make your eyes water. I mean, we're running aircraft 12 hours a day, and all the equipment and paying the staff and the red tape and things. As business progressed, there became more and more red tape around superannuation and whether you could employ people casually, and just became more and more of a sort of headache all the time. One day, a lady that was working for me had asked me if I'd heard of network marketing, and I hadn't heard of it, even though I'd done a marketing degree. I'd never, ever heard the word network marketing. No, what's that? So she sort of educated me on what network marketing was. And with my business background and having an open mind, which is what, one of the key things in this business is to have an open mind. I mean, you've got to look at things. You can always dispel it, but it's totally ignorant to dispel something without actually looking into it. I've always believed that. So I looked into network marketing, and pennies were dropping. I was reading all the disadvantages that I was experiencing, because by the time the skydiving centre had got that big, it was 7 days a week for me. And at the weekends, we'd organise parties and things like that. So, you know, I'd be going from 5 in the morning till 2 in the morning. And Mondays when we were closed, I was the one paying all the bills and paying everyone. And, you know, and so when I was reading about network marketing and the word leverage, it all made sense to me. And so I joined the company that she was in, which I didn't actually like. And there were a few things about it that I just went, oh, I really don't like this. So you weren't allowed, you were discouraged from talking to other team members. Now, here you're experiencing the opposite of that, because Sharon and I, and Diana, we've been working together now for 20 odd years, and we're in different teams. It doesn't benefit us each other to work together, and yet here we are doing exactly that. Well, the first company I joined, they discouraged that, and they told you, you know, keep it a secret, don't tell people what you're doing, invite them round to your house and get a whiteboard out halfway through a dinner party. Just didn't like that kind of thing. So I then went on a hunt for, you know, a better, a company that I thought was doing it the way I thought it should be done. And at the same time, I was really getting into my health, because I got on, I was part of the Australian skydiving team, and we were sponsored, and we had someone work with us who was, you know, really every aspect of our performance was under the spotlight. And we had to look at our nutrition. We were only allowed to drink water. We, you know, everything that we were doing because we wanted to be the best in the world. And that was something that led me to start saying, well, the best business to have in network marketing would be one that encompassed both of those things, health and lifestyle. So that's when I went on the journey of looking for a health company. And I mean, if you really do your research, you end up at Mannatech, because I think, you know, in terms of health, they are the leading company in the world. Along that journey, and I know Sharon and Diana and myself, we've had our lives changed by Robert Kiyosaki. If you haven't read it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, changed my life. Start reading that book, and you know, that was my life. I was in a quadrant where I had a normal business which had no time freedom at all. And another book that I love and I recommend, The Business of the 21st Century by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, these are really timely now, because, you know, we've been involved for over 20 years, and we've seen this whole industry evolving to the point now where, I mean, when we started, we didn't have the internet that we have now. We didn't have the technology that we have now. We couldn't do what we're doing now and have Zoom calls where we can talk to anyone all around the world. So there's never really been a better time. And in all that 20 years, I've never come across, and I know Sharon and I, we get approached by other companies that come along, and we've seen companies come and go. We've seen companies explode and loads of people run off and, you know, jump on another thing, and then it all crashes. And Mannatech's been pretty stable all the way through that time, getting better and better, incorporating better technology. And I really think that we're at the leading edge of when, you know, you hear people talking now about the gig economy, how big it is, and how millions and millions of people are in a situation just like Gabby, where it's not just it would be nice, it's essential, it's really, really important. So we have a message that is so important today. And given the situation that we've had lately, you know, I don't need to go into it, but there's never, ever been a better or more important time to share the message of health and lifestyle. And I love the fact that I still have a team like I had with the original business, but, you know, I'm working with people who are motivated. You know, it's a wonderful sort of environment and a community, and I've been paid every single month for 20 years. you know, it's extraordinary that check just comes in every single month. I've made lifelong friends from the business. You know, it's a business where you establish relationships that are going to last a lifetime, and it's all about helping other people. So the more you help others to succeed, the more you succeed, and you won't find a better company than Mannatech. I really believe that.
It's ethical through and through, isn't it? From its missions, its technology,
Mission 5
leadership,
million, and all these
yeah.
pieces, just very, very good.
Yeah, the ethics of it is something that's probably primary. My highest values are contribution and integrity, and Mannatech ticks those boxes for me, definitely. Thanks, Gary. I'll come back to you. And Poppy, the amazing Poppy, tell us your story.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Sharon. Thanks for the opportunity again to speak with you guys. My story with Mannatech, like some of you know, but I think I need to go back a bit to how I started. Excuse me, I woke up with a bit of a croak in the throat this morning. I got very sick. So my journey with Mannatech is a wellness journey at first. I got very, very sick due to stress. We lost our home to the bank and our cars, both cars in the same week. So as you can imagine, the stress of that and what happened to me took a major effect on my body. That was back in 2012. And by 2015, I had declined so rapidly that I spent the first 9 months of 2015 literally between my bed and hospital. And I was on 23 prescription medication. Nothing that they could do for me was helping. And it got to the stage that my doctor said to Nick, who's my husband, you need to prepare her funeral. She's going to die. We don't give her more than 2 weeks. Yeah, that's how drastic and how fast my health had deteriorated. And it was then that I reached out to Naomi, who is my amazing presidential upline. And I've known Naomi for like 20, 30 years now, and our kids went to school together. And so, excuse me, she said to me, Pop, you've got to go on the products. And at the time, financially, we were in no position to go on the products because of what we had no money. We were broke and going through a very hard time financially. As Nick say, was self-employed. He is still self-employed, but things are a lot better now, thank God. But we dug deep and we said, okay, let's do this. And I got onto the product. So you've got to understand, I went from someone from being in bed for 9 months, not being able to shower myself, not being able to walk, body aches and pains, hair was falling out, cold sores all over my face, migraines that would last 8 to 10 hours. I couldn't even see light. I had to have a blindfold on. Extreme fatigue. Like I was a mess. And I was only, I'm going to try not to get emotional here. I was young. I'm 53 this year, but I was still young and I had a young family. So I was desperate and I dug deep and we got the products. And excuse me, literally within, to me, they worked so miraculously fast. Within 10 to 12 days, complete shift. I woke up one morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and for the first time in 9 months, I turned around to my husband and I said, Nick, I want to have a shower. And he goes, Pop, I can't shower you. That's how we were. He had to shower me. And he goes, I go, no, I can shower myself. And he just looked at me thinking, what's going on here? Anyway, he went and woke up my then 14-year-old daughter at the time. And he says, I don't know what's gotten into Mum, but she's under the impression she can have a shower on her own. Please go stand with her just in case she passes out. And that was the turning point for me. It was from that day on that my life turned around health-wise. I saw the impact that these products had on my body, and I wanted to shout it from the rooftop and tell the world what they did to me. I went from 26 prescription medications to nothing. I'm literally down to my last 5 milligram of blood pressure medication every second day because they're weaning me off that because it's been so stable for the last 2 years now. So this company, Mannatech, saved my life. That's the only way I can put it. It saved my life, it saved my family's life. My kids have got their mum. My husband has his wife. And so life for us with Mannatech now is completely different. It was then that people started to see me again. I started to venture out. They hadn't seen me for quite a long time, and they were wanting to know what I had done and what's happened that I'm now so well to be able to go out again. And by sharing my story, people wanted the products. They wanted to buy it. So that's when I spoke to Naomi, and she said to me, "Pop, do the business." And I thought, you know what, I can do this. This could be the source of income that would help our family. And it's been the biggest blessing to us. I work part-time with Mannatech and I earn a full-time wage. So Mannatech not only saved my life health-wise and gave me back to my family, but it also saved us financially. And every month I get my income coming in that sustains us, like pays the rent here. That I live in the Hills district in Sydney, which is a very expensive district to rent in. I pay my monthly rent out of my Mannatech wage and some other bills on the side as well, and I still have spending money. So this company financially is the pinnacle for us, because it's helped so much, and I can give so much back into the community now. I live amongst college kids who come from overseas, and these college kids have got nobody. And my house is it's a frat house, because they have my house every day. They come over and they know that my fridge and my pantry is full for them. If I get a phone call saying someone's going through a hard time, I don't panic, because I know financially I'm in a position to be able to fill up a box and go to Woolies and Coles around the corner and fill up a trolley of groceries for them. And to be able to do that, to be able to give back and help these kids that have got, as I said, they've got no one. They've gone through such a hard time with COVID as well, and being separated from their families, not being able to go back home. And to know that they can come to me, and I've helped them with products as well when they've been sick, financially when they've needed it. So this company has not only impacted my health and my family's life, but it's impacted everybody around me. And that's what I love about it. What we can give back to our community, and what we can give back to people around us is second to none. Like, there's nothing else out there like this. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. I love the opportunity that it's given me to be able to share my story with people, to be able to help people, to be able to reach out to the kids in my area and support them and help them. It's just been amazing. And I've gotten to see places as well. Like, I've been with Mannatech, it'll be 6 years in September the 1st, but I've already earned 7 all expense paid trips around the world. And the last one, I was able to take Nicholas with me and my 11-year-old to the Great Barrier Reef, and I was able to put on a wetsuit and jump in the Great Barrier Reef, because I've also lost so much weight with the program, with the help of the program as well. And to see Nick's face, which is his Great Barrier Reef was on his bucket list, to see him being able to jump into the water with my 11-year-old Silas at the time was priceless for me. And they're coming with me to Uluru as well, because I won enough for him to go to Uluru. So to be able to see the world for free, to be able to take my husband on this journey, who has been a massive support for me, because Nick is a floor and wall tiler, for those that don't know, works extremely hard, like 15, 16-hour days at time, very hard labor. But when he comes home and if he sees that I'm sitting on the lounge with a laptop on my lap, he doesn't even question it. He'll go straight into the kitchen, grabs the kids and goes, "Come on guys, we're doing dinner, mum's busy." And he supports my Mannatech business. He supports my dream. He supports my why. So to be able to take Nick to these now holiday incentives that I've been earning is just, like, to me, that keeps me going. And I'm so excited that I get to share that side of the journey with him. But guys, I encourage you, if you've been thinking about network marketing, if you've been thinking about Mannatech, if you've been pondering, should I or shouldn't I? Yes, you should. You will not find anything better out there than what this company does. And for us, the products are amazing. They do what they say they do. As Sharon and everyone spoke about before, they are ethical. You will not be disappointed, and you will then be connected with a group of women and men that are like-minded. You have a sense of community. Look, I met Gabby through the business. Gab lives 10, 15 minutes away from me. We do life together. I'm the godmother of her 2 girls. So it brings so much more than just, which is so important anyway, health and finances, but it brings you a sense of belonging to something, and you develop lifelong friendships like I have. Yeah, it's the best decision I've ever made, and I am so forever thankful for it. And yeah, I look forward to bigger and better things. As my last plug, you've got to get to conference, guys, because this will help catapult your business. If you've been in the business, I think conferences are a must, and they really help you get to that next level. So that's my journey with Mannatech. It's been amazing. I'm not finished yet. I have got a long way to go. And so look, watch this spot, guys, because big things.
You just inspired yourself, didn't you, Poppy? So that was amazing. Thank you so very much. So I'll just take a couple minutes just to share a bit about my journey. I came into Mannatech like Poppy for wellness, and I was bedbound and housebound at that time, sleeping, probably 16 hours a day. You know, I'd get up a few times, but I just couldn't sustain being up. And I met some women at a dinner party, and nobody's mentioned this, but I was absolutely against it. Complete and total, closed, biased. There's no way in heck that I was going to listen to somebody at a dinner party about my health when I was, you know, a critical care nurse with almost 20 years, near 20 years experience. And how would I be hearing about a health breakthrough at a dinner party? And I tell you, you know, realizing that I was wrong about that over time has changed my whole life. You know, I no longer dismiss things, like Gary said at the beginning, without taking a look. You know, I have a good look. Long story short, within 18 months, it was a stair-step journey for me, but I had recovered to better health than I had remember experiencing. And I'd learned things that I didn't get in Western medicine. I'd learned about, I mean, this sounds really dumb and it's embarrassing, but I didn't realize food made me healthy. Like I never, you know, I grew up in the 60s, and my mom was slim and she dieted all the time, thought she was fat. So I grew up dieting with my mom. Sometimes we'd only have 500 calories a day. And it didn't matter what those calories consisted of. The nutrition wasn't part of the decision making, I can tell you that. And I heard the basics in nursing, obviously, about a good diet as the food pyramid. And you know, the knowledge that I've gained, that's the real truth in this company, has been impactful. It's impacted my family. My children have grown up learning the real truth about nutrition, and it's not perfect. Sometimes it's a train wreck at our house with nutrition, but they're constantly getting dripped on the fact that this is feeding your body or taking away from the health of your body. And I hope that, you know, once they get through and making their own decisions, some of that foundational knowledge will stay and impact generations. You know, along the way, I still didn't want to do the business, but I found myself, like Poppy, just telling everybody that would hold still about me, that this is different, it's solid, it's foundational for well-being, and that no matter what else you have to do about your health, you know, no matter where you are on the health continuum from 0 to 100, including these in your life will move you more towards the 100 in peak vitality. And for me, you know, in many times in my life, is, you know, have a significantly compromised health, and things jar me. If I, you know, I just go back and I take more, and it brings me out of it. And there isn't anything like that can give the power back into the hands of the people. So yes, the business has benefited. I've had many trips like Poppy. Of late, my full-time focus has been towards a charity, but I'm not gone out of Mannatech, and I'll be back with my full-time passion. I just need to kick some goals with this government, which maybe 2021 is the year. So yeah, Mannatech is amazing. And, we're talking about the convention. You won't be able to get this link once we disconnect the webinar and the chat doesn't show up in the recording. But the deadline is tomorrow to be able to register for the virtual and be able to get your packages for conference. And it is, like Gary, he mentioned Robert Kiyosaki. I was the office manager and the tour manager for Robert Kiyosaki around Australia and New Zealand in the 90s. And I traveled with him and Kim and his whole entourage and all his trainers. And I worked with them for almost a decade. And the knowledge, this company gives you the vehicle to put that knowledge into practice. It's everything that he would advise you to do, whether it's just part-time, you can put something away for retirement or put something away for a holiday fund or put something away. If you put $500 a month away, you could buy a new car every 4 years or whatever. Whatever you may be loving your career, but a safety net with a secondary residual income is just good finance. And in the instability of the work world and the world in general, like who could have predicted which industries or businesses would go to ground in this recent emergency? Couldn't. It was hit and miss. Some thrived and some crashed, never be seen again. So a safety net, and Mannatech has thrived, obviously, because we can do everything virtually, we can do everything from home. And for the current health threats, there's nothing more important than a really empowered immune system. And that's what we offer in a way that no other country or company. It's completely unique. And, the more in depth you look at our science technology, the better we look. That's for sure. So we'll just go around now and give everybody just an opportunity to have a minute of closing thoughts or feelings or what's from your heart. So Gabby.
Sorry, I always forget to unmute myself.
That's okay. It's a good practice.
Sorry. Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for all of you that shared today, because it's amazing to hear different stories. That stories inspires us, and I've heard Poppy's story many times. I'm still crying every time that that she tells us her story. And yeah, she's been a very an inspiration for me. When I shared, I said just half of the things that I wanted to say. Because as you can see, English is not my first language, so I'm still learning and doing my best, trying to get out of my comfort zone. But yeah, so again, for me, Mannatech has changed our lives. I also had a health journey with Mannatech and with the products through the depression that I had. I also had days that I couldn't get up from bed. I didn't have the willing or the energy to get out of bed, and feeling so depressed, so down, just a mess, crying all day, feeling lonely, no family around, no friends. We came to Australia with literally with nothing, just clothes. So we still, we started from scratch. And so for everyone that it's, if there is a mom out there and that thinks that life is difficult, because it is, it's not easy to do life, and I always say I put my family first all the time. And for me, my husband and my two daughters is what drives me every day to do something for myself, to be a better mom, a better wife, and also to learn and be a better version of myself to build this business. And I don't put, for example, my daughters as an excuse. I put my daughters as my motivation. And and if you think that you cannot do this, I will say, you can do it. If I can learn and I can be speaking here, even though that I still struggle with speaking, you can do this as well and do it for your family. That your family is your motivation, not your excuse to say I don't have time, or the time to do this. You can learn. It I have met in our conference different people, and everyone is very lovely, very supportive. So I'm sure that in any teams that you are, you're going to be supported, trained, and you're going to be welcomed and loved. So this sense of community is something that I really, really loved as well, because that's something that I was missing, being so far from family. I love being around with people, and especially now being around with like-minded people and positive people and people that are lifting you up all the time. It's really what that I love. I love about being with Mannatech. Again, the products has helped my health, because I started as a customer first, because it's been 18 months now that I'm doing the business only, but I've been having the products for at least maybe 4 to 5 years on and off since I heard about the company. And as well as many stories. So I went, from not being able to get up from bed, and I was having headaches. I was, I didn't have energy of willing to do anything. I was a real mess. And as Poppy said, I also had a very quick response, from my body to the products. In 1 week. I felt like a different person. I
So
had
Poppy,
so much energy.
Gabby, we're gonna have to wrap up. Sorry, we're just
Oh,
about
yeah,
running out of
sorry.
time. I forgot to tell you about that. But you know what?
Sorry.
Please don't ever apologize for your English. I only speak one language. I think you're amazing. So
I'm so aware of my accent and everything, but I hope that this inspires others to do the business and change their lives, change their situations, just to say yes
we're all,
to the
yeah,
opportunity.
we're all very glad. We're all very glad that you had the courage to be here this morning, Gabby. You've been very inspiring. And I wouldn't worry about the accent. I've been here 34 years and everybody talks about my accent. And now I talk to my family and they say I have an Australian accent. So you just don't win. I just drop that as a worry. So thanks for being here. Diana, what's in your heart?
Yes, thank you. I found your story very inspiring, Gabby. Thank you for being here. Look, I would say that there's a place for everyone in Mannatech, whether it be just taking the products for your health and your family's health. You're part of our community as far as we're concerned in our heart. You've heard that from everyone. Whether it be for a fulfilling career and sense of purpose, which has been true for me, and the sense of community, which I love and everyone has expressed, and also at M5M, the contribution to children, around the world who we don't know. I can put my head on the pillow at night and know I've made a difference somewhere beyond what I know. And I just want to say, Sarah Loutham said last year on our Saturday call, she's CEO or director of the M5M Foundation. She said those children are amazed that someone across the world who doesn't know them cares about them. And, that's just such a powerful reminder of what we're contributing beyond what we're even aware of. So, and you're doing that even if you're just a customer by buying the product every month. So I'll leave it there because I know we're short of time.
That's okay, Diana. Thank you so much. And Poppy?